Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. So much going on the channel, so many new postings today, as well as Simon's video from earlier. We have got an extra video today. Simon solving a Sudoku with Chain Bear, the legendary Formula One YouTuber, who I think is on hiatus from motorsport videos, but he's been prepared to work with Simon on solving a Sudoku, which is fantastic. That was on the channel earlier today. On Patreon, 2 postings today. One, a connections video, where I am having the hardest time possible in the world on connections lately. Not going well, I'm not gonna lie. And that is there on Patreon from this morning, along with the third and last of the solution videos to Are You My Mama, last month's Patreon Sudoku hunt by the PBN Institute. Thank you so much to Panthera, The Asylum, Alithana and Jaleb for the solution videos, which are fantastic and explain how you could have solved those puzzles if you didn't, or you can just re-enjoy the moments. And very well done to the nearly 1,000, no, it was over 1,000 people, I think, who entered the competition and took part with us in the Sudoku hunt. Now, for those of you who love that sort of thing, and that's everybody, 2 days' time, it's time to launch the Nurikabi Puzzle Pack by Blobs. Now, we haven't been streaming again, but the last time we did stream, nearly a month ago, was the Nurikabi World. A very excellent game. And yeah, we may well be going back to that next time we do. Now, I have solved a puzzle. Blobs immediately sent in a single puzzle of Nurikabi rules, and I did solve that in a video, but I did it in a video which predicted the next stream was coming the next day. That's out of date because we weren't able to stream. I mean, Simon had a back problem that delayed it, to be honest, so we haven't streamed again for a while. I might put up that video tomorrow anyway, even though the commentary is quite wrong about the fact that we would be streaming, and probably quite wrong about whatever else is coming up on the channel. So I may have to put a note in the description field, but it would be a shame not to put up the video of the solve of the puzzle, which is the more important thing. And it would be a great trailer for the pack as well. So I think that'll go up tomorrow. There, a decision has been made live on air in front of you. And there are always great posts on Patreon. Those are the examples of the posts there are, and crosswords too. Now, what else have we got? We've got all of our apps which feature line Sudoku and arrow Sudoku. Arrows is the theme of today's puzzle, and chess Sudoku. Ooh, where's Nighty McNightface? I'm going to need him. Anyway, Fog of War is our latest one. The Sudoku apps are brilliant. Do check them out. People have had great fun with them. There's also a merchandise linked under the video and SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD, but the first link is to this puzzle, Deviant Arrow, by the great Dutch puzzle Meister, I want to say, Ard van de Wetering, who has been creating Sudoku puzzles for more years than Sudoku has existed, almost. Now, what are the rules of Deviant Arrow, and is there a Deviant Arrow? We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 will go in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box as usual. Cells separated by a single knight's move in chess, like there to there, cannot contain the same digit. And I have fished out my little red man, Nighty McNightface, to remind me when I forget that rule is there, that it applies. And, of course, digits along an arrow sum up to the digit in that arrow's circle. So these 4 digits will add up to that one. Obviously, you can get repeats on an arrow. Now, give it a try on that first link. I am going to click Start now and say, let's get cracking. So I know things about these arrows because all of these arrows have 3 cells in one box and one cell in another one. Now, the minimum total for the 3 cells in one box is 6, 1, 2, and 3. We've got another cell to add, which has to be at least 1. So the minimum total for every arrow is 7. Oh, look, there is a deviant arrow. All of the arrows finish in these circles in rows 3 and 7, columns 3 and 7, apart from this one. So this is the deviant arrow. Even though its shape is the same as the others, it's behaving a bit differently. Anyway, I was going to go on to say that this 7, 8, or 9 total, remember that the first 3 cells in the same box all add up to at least 6. So the other digit has to be 1, 2, or 3. And look at that. That forms a little triple in box 5, which is clearly, I reckon, going to be important. Now, there is another thing we know about the rest of the arrows. Remember that this must be at least 1, and that is at most 9. That means that these arrows, these threesomes, can add up to at most 8. And they're all different digits. Now, the one thing I know about those, I know 2 things about such digits, is that they can never exceed 5, because 5 is the biggest digit you can put in a 3 different digit sum to 8, 5, 2, 1. The more important thing, I suspect, in this puzzle is that each of these trios must have a 1 in. If you just try and imagine a set of 3 digits that are different from each other and don't have a 1, the least they could be is 2, 3, and 4, and they add up to 9, which is too many. So there is always a 1 in these groups, and I would normally corner pencil mark that, but I think we can do better. So ordinary Sudoku will let me remove 5s from those cells because of this 5, but that 1 is seeing a lot of places where we can take 1 out of. Now, this trio had to have a 1 in, and that now has to go here. And look, that looks straight across the grid. This trio, by exactly the same implication, has to have a 1 in as well. And now we can remove 1 from these cells and put it definitely in here. And right. Yes, it was the fact that I was removing that 1. That is interesting. Oh, first of all, a bit of Sudoku. When you get a digit, people are always on at me. Make sure you have adjusted all other cells for the implication of that digit. It's just a bit hard to do because some deductions lead to multiple inferences. Anyway, this one, for instance, we don't have a 1 in that cell, but these do need a 1. So the 1 on this arrow is going to have to be in one of those cells, and that is really important for this arrow because it removes 1 from those positions and puts it in there. And suddenly, just this simple rule about any 3 digits that are different and only add up to a maximum of 8 need a 1 has led us to be able to place half the 1s in the grid. And that is an approximation. You know that we cannot place exactly half the 1s in a grid. Now I probably have to think about the fact that this is a 1, 2, 3 triple. So one of these 3 blue digits is a 3. And in that case, its circle has to be 9, and the arrow that continues from it has to be 1, 2, 3. I don't know, maybe that is the way to proceed, or maybe it's not. These 3 circles don't all have to be different. These 2 could be the same. And that's reasonably important. Actually, what I'm going to do, these 4 cells have to be different from each other. I'm going to colour them yellow. Those 4 yellows are different, but we're then going to add these 4 cells. And I was wondering if that's going to make a maximum here. So the minimum for these 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Because they all have to be different. They're all in column 5. That's 10. Then you could have 1 here and 2 here. Ah. Yes, this is good. Then you're going to add these 2 digits. So what I'm working on is the total of the 2 red cells based on their constituent parts on the arrows. So those are added up. Let me get rid of that colouring for a moment and just make these dark blue. So this is made, in fact, I'll do these in a different colour just to make it even clearer what I'm explaining. So the 2 reds together are made up of a total of the 4 yellows, which have to add up to at least 10, the 2 oranges, which have to add up to at least 3, that's 13. Now the 2 blues, notice that neither of these can be a 1 anymore. So the minimum for those is a 2 and a 3. And that takes our total of yellow, orange and blue up to 18. And that must exactly match the reds. So we're away. Those are a pair of 9s. The yellows are 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take 5 out of those. These oranges are 1 and 2. I've only just realised the ones I got earlier pointing at this blue set that I had in the central box was actually going to put a 1 here, but never mind. What I'm doing now is telling me that the blues are a 2, 3 pair. That must be 3 because it's in a box with 2. That must be 2. This digit now has to be 1 by every conceivable means. And what quote does that put me in mind of? I think it's Lizzie Bennet saying to Mr. Darcy, "You have offended me in every conceivable way." Well, I hope I haven't offended you in any conceivable way. I'm going to remove the colours there. I'm going to leave the yellow ones in for the moment because they're quite interesting. But this 3 is quite interesting. That's where to start. As I said, one of these 3 had to be a 3. It turns out to be this one. That needs a 9 there. And then these have to add up to 6. So they're 1, 2, 3. So that's now a 2, 3 pair. In my yellow, I can remove 2 and 3 from those cells. They are 1, 4, and you can see that this addition is correct. Now, does it mean we can do these additions? This can't be 9 anymore, which is significant, I feel. It means this can't be a 5, but I don't know whether these add up to 5 plus 1 is 7, or 6 plus 1 is 8. However, they do add up to 5 or 6, and they must include a 2. This can't be 2 by Sudoku anymore. That can't be 3. Now, I haven't really thought about this arrow at all. This is the deviant arrow whose circle goes into the central box. What is going on with this one? I don't know is the answer. I don't know why it's different from the others. Oh, here's a nice point. Right. 2, 3, 1, 4 in the yellow. Where does 4 go in the central box? Well, I don't know exactly, but I do know it must go in one of those cells. It can't be in column 5 again. And that's really good because now these 2 can't have a 4 and they must be a 2, 3 pair. And we can add this up. This is definitely a 7 circle. That's not, unfortunately, looking at this digit. I still don't know what the deviant arrow is going to do here. I think we probably have to do Sudoku at this point in the puzzle. And why not? Right, what shall we look at? This digit sees 5, 9, 7. So does that. And they both see the 1, 2, 3 triple. So they're from 4, 6, 8. I don't know, I'm looking for Sudoku implications of the digits I have placed. But they're basically covered by the pencil marks I've done already, as far as I can see. I mean, I know that 2's in one of those cells, but the only real significance of that is it's not there. I know that 3's in one of those cells, but I've already marked it as not here. So I don't quite know what I'm meant to be doing, and I will have to think of that. There's a 3 in one of those cells. I don't really want a pencil mark all over the place. I'm a bit surprised the puzzle disambiguates from this point. So think about the 4's maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or is it actually going to be part of the puzzle to think about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sets? It doesn't feel very likely, but there are a few places in the grid where it's clear the digits must be from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I might just highlight those in green, just to have a little think about them. These are definitely 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 digits, because they all in some way see 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm bearing in mind one of those two has to be a 4. No, it doesn't really do anything for me, I don't think. And apologies if you can see what that immediately does do. Okay, if that was a 7, this would be 1, and this would be a 2, 3 pair. I just can't see any problems with this. Now, I'm getting rid of that green. I don't think it was doing anything. So, I just need to find something I can actually work on from this point in the puzzle. It's probably the deviant arrow. Can it have a 5 on? Is that realistic? 1, 5, 2 and a 1 would be 9. I think it is. I think it is. Fistemafel ring? No. I mean, you can see by Sudoku that there are 9s in those boxes. Right, I'm just going to have to... Oh, the knight's move! Knighty McKnightface! Oh... It's extraordinary how many times I managed to forget this absolute nonsense. I mean, I'm so bad at it. I'm so annoyed with myself. The knight's move. Right, where does that apply? Where does it apply? It must apply immediately somewhere. But weirdly, I don't see it immediately. Oh, hang on. These 9s both see all of these cells. So 9, no, where does 9 go in the central column with the knight's move thing? Look, that one sees those two, that one sees those two. It must go in the middle. Now, this is not a 9, this is not a 3. These can't contain 5. That all had quite an impact. This 7 by knight's move sees all of those cells. By knight's move and Sudoku. So there's a 7 in one of those two, and suddenly this circle becomes an 8. That's interesting. This 7 also sees those two cells, so 7's going to go into one of those two. That's much less interesting. Now, that 8 sees that cell in column 5, and obviously it sees those two, so we place 8 in column 5. These are from 5, 6, 7 now, as is that, but it can't be a 5. 8 by 8 is left in one of those two cells, given that it sees those on the knight's move. But this 9, where does this go in this box? It sees all of those, so it's placed. Then we get 9 in one of those two, and I don't think they're ruled out. But now where does 9 go in this row? It's a lovely question. Those two 9s manage to see both of those cells between them. This is one of those knight's move things. If that's a 9, it sees that one by knight's move and that one vertically. If that's a 9, it sees that one vertically and that one by knight's move. So 9's ruled out of those. This 9 rules that out. This 9 rules those out. So this is the 9. That places 7 based on the pencil marking. We're going to get another 7 there. We're going to get a 9 somewhere down in the corner here. I can place 9 in column 8. 9 there, 9 there, and that one sees that cell by knight's move. The knight's move. Why do I forget the knight's moves? He was sitting in the shadows. That's the trouble. I should have somehow had him floating around in front of my eyes. He's a good man, though, because he did fix things. Now, 1 in this box, no. It can't be there, or any of those or there. So 1 is in one of those positions. Oh, sorry, there was a given 1 in the grid doing all that work for me. 1, 4, 2, 8, 9, 7. 3 down here. 3 in box 8 is there. This is a 5, 6 pair. Let's see the effect of that. This trio is 4, 7, and 8, but only one of them can be 8 because of that. This is a 7, 4 pair. 7 itself is looking at that cell by knight's move. So there we go. This is now a 6. This is a 5-7 pair. And again, 7 on the knight's move is sorting that out. This is a 6. I think now that we've finally got the knight's move bit, we're suddenly on the home straight. This can't be a 7 by knight's move. That can't be a 7 by knight's move. So the 7 in the central row is here. This is a weird 5-8 pair. It's not a pair because 5 on the knight's move has resolved them. Okay, 8 there. This can't be 8. This is a 5-4 pair. I can't see the knight's move resolving those. Because that's a 5-4 pair, this digit can't be 5 or 4. It also can't be 9, 8 or 6. Doesn't really help. That 5-6 pair is both looking at this cell, which can't be 5, 6, 9, 7, 8. No, I'm taking the wrong approach, so let's reverse and rewind. Oh, 7 there is looking at that cell. So that place is 7, that place is 9 in box 4. It also places 8. That is now a 2 because it's looking at a 4-6 pair. That's a 5. Now, this 8 minus 3, these two cells have to add up to 5. 3 is looking at that cell, so that's a 4, that's a 1. There we go. That is all the arrows complete, included, well, apart from the yellow cells, but, oh, actually, and those. But including the deviant arrow. So 3 and 6 here, I can't see how they're disambiguated yet. That is 3 or 8, given everything it sees in the row and the column. 2, 3, 4, 6. We need a 7 in one of those. These are from 3, 4, 5, 6. This one can't be 4 or 5. It can't be 5 because of the given digit. It can't be 4 because that's in one of those cells. So this is 3 or 6. This is 3, 5, or 6. 1, 2, 7, 4, 9, 3, and 8 sees this one as well. So this is 5 or 6, which makes it a pair with that one. That might be interesting. 1, 2, 4, 8 left to place in the row. That one sees 1 and 2. So that's 4 or 8. This one sees 8. I'm going to fully pencil mark the row. This one sees 1, and it hasn't actually helped. The 5, 6 pair, they don't both see something together. I mean, they both see those two cells. No, that didn't get it. Let's try this row as well. What is this now? 5, 9, 8, 7, 6. All impossible. 1, 2, 3, or 4. This one sees the 5, 6 pair, 9, 8, 7, again, 1, 2, 3, or 4. So one of those two is a 6. That doesn't really advance me. Ones, one of these two is a 1 in row 1. Okay, I'm not seeing the next step immediately. You probably are. You're probably shouting at me. Let's have a look at this. This can't be 8 or 2. It can't be 3 either because of these yellow cells. One of those is a 3, so that's 4 or 7. 7, 8, that's 2 or 3. Again, it can't be a 4 because there's a pair looking at it. It's weird how so many of these cells come down to 2 possible candidates. What about this one? No, that's a bit more open. These on the end here, 5, 9, 6, 1, 2. Oh, 2 can't be in any of those cells, so 2 must be in one of these two. That means this can't be a 2. Now 2 is in one of those two. Yeah, similarly, 4 is looking at those cells. Oh, that's quite interesting. So in this row, where does 4 go? One of those two. Now that knocks 4 out of this cell and makes it a definite 8. And that puts 8 in one of those two. I wish I could be more demonstrative, more certain about what it does with 8. 7 is in one of those two in box 1. So just looking at the corner marks, 1, 2, 7, 5, and 8, 5, 9. These are from 3, 4, or 6. That one sees a 3. So that's 4 or 6. This is 3, 4, or 6. I'm hoping that some of this pencil marking will suddenly pay off, because I think there'll be a tipping point in the puzzle at some point. Now, this sees the 1, 4 yellow pair. It also sees 2, 8, 9, 5. And that's all. This sees 1, 5, 7, 8, 2, 9, and 6 in one of those cells. So this is 3 or 4. Don't suppose that is getting anything done. No, not quite. Wow, I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of a frustrating time, even knowing about the knight's move rule now. Now, these were useful positions because they command a view of a number of cells. That 7 sees all of those, so we know one of those two is a 7. This 1 sees all of those, but that doesn't really help. So let's try turning that on its side. 9 sees those. 2 sees those, yes. So there needs to be a 2 in column 2 that has to be in one of these 3 cells, and the only one we have pencil marked as possible is there. Now, why is that? Because we worked out that 2 is in one of those cells in row 2, and it's in one of these cells in column 2. The only overlap is there. So that is a 2. And the trouble is, you get that, and it's probably not going to have much knock-on effect on other cells. Okay, and it didn't. That served me right. What about this then? I still think that can be 3 or 8. Oh, no, I should keep thinking in the same way. Is there anything this can't be? I don't think there is out of 3, 4, 7, 8, annoyingly. Goodness me, I'm really straining and struggling now. 7 is in one of those and one of those. This deviant arrow is complete. This 2, 3 is not. I mean, is there just an ordinary knight's move looking at one of these pairs somewhere? There probably is by now. There probably is. 2, 8, 9. These are from 3. We still need a 5 in this row. It's at one end or the other. If it was here, that would be a 6. If it was here, oh well, there is a 5 in one of those two. And there's only, that 9 has meant there's only one place for 9 in this box. So going up the row, up the column again then. 6 must now be in one of those 2 cells in the column. Still not resolving anything else. Wow, it's just a perseverance test now, isn't it? I'm really struggling. I mean, it's very neat, and I'm sure it does all work. Okay, 8 and 8. One of those two is 8. But I just can't find my way through it. One of those 3 is 8. I did sort of notice that earlier without quite knowing if it did anything for me. And I don't think it does. This can't be 4, so we worked out earlier, one of those 2 is 4. It's interesting. Okay, here's an observation that I haven't had before. One of those 2 is 4, so that's not 4. Now, in this column, where's 4? It's in one of those 2 cells. They do both see that one, weirdly. This one by knight's move. So This can't be a 4. I know I haven't pencil marked it as though it could be, but it's something I haven't actually I have eliminated it because there's a 4-6 pair looking at that. That is in fact 3 or 8. I don't know. Right, where should I be looking? 2. 2 in box 9 is in one of those cells. Very similar set in box 7, one of those cells. Those two need a 2 in. Where are we looking in column 9? We're looking at a lot of cells that could contain a 2 in column 9. Oh, Mark, think, man. This can't be 6. It could be 2, 3, 4, or 7. Can't be 4 from that 4-5 pair. This could be 4. Ah, no, look, 4 is just looking at that yellow cell. That's been there for the longest possible time. I'm so sorry. Right, 4 now. Can't be in those cells. That 4 says not there, so we place 4. That's a 4. Are we going to get all the 4s done? One of those two. We're probably not on that basis. It's not really narrowing down box 1 enough for me in terms of 4s. So, 1s though. 1 is now in one of those 2 cells. So, those of you who are shouting out, look at that 4 to me for ages, were you seeing that it did more than this immediately? That's my question to you. Because I can't see what it does completely. It didn't place all the 4s as far as I can see. If it's eliminated, yes, this has become a 2. Yes, that's what it's done. Thank you. Okay. 3 there, 2 there. This is now 8 based on the thorough pencil marking from earlier. That's going to make one of these 2 an 8. Now, how are we doing on 2s? We need a 2 in one of those 2 cells. One of the corner cells of box 3. 2, 8, 7, 9. 4's in one of those. Ah, this is a struggle, isn't it? So, where do we go? 5 and 6 still not resolved. That 2 was the last significant thing I got. Then I got an 8 as a result of that. The corner, for instance, is 1, 5, or 6. Still don't know about 7 over here. The 8s didn't get finished. Whoa, so is there another, is that being looked at by some knight's move digit? Apparently not. I mean, it's a little strange that the symmetry should be such that they were being looked at, but not this. So, not finished yet. 3, 7, 8. Oh, that's a naked single. 2, 5, 9, 6, 1, 4 in the row, 3, 8 in the column. That's a 7. 3, 8 to finish the row, so that's not a 3 now. That's part of a 4, 5, 6 triple now. So this is 2 or 3, but it can't be 3 because of the 3, 8 pair that we've just put in the box. So that's 2. That resolves the last 2 yellow digits. Surely that 3 that gives me, it's not going to do anything, is it? Anyway. This, sorry, I was trying to remove pencil marks. This can't be a 3 or a 2. So that's a 7. This is 5 or 6 in the corner. That 7 is telling me this is 7 and this one isn't. Now, that's a 3, 6 pair. So in this row I can place, in this column, I can place 2. And that's all the 2's done in the grid. That's a 3, 6 pair, so this is a 4, and 5 next to it. And that 4 or that 5, they must do something else. That 4 looks at this cell, that's a 6. So then I can do 5 and 4, 5, 6 in the corner. That brings me down to 3 and 6. That gives me 3 here, 6 here, and that sorts out 4 and 6. Right, the rows 3 to 6 are complete. This group of cells is 1, 4, 3. I can do them. This pair of cells is 1 and 3. No 3 in the corner today. That 3-8 pair is resolved by a 3. This has become a 6. And that gives me 5 and 6. And finally, I finish off with 3 and 8. It's a love... Oh, why am I... Not for 3 and 8. You're quite right. 8 and 5. Why don't I actually read the digits as I'm putting them in? There we go. That's a lovely puzzle. It's so elegant, creative, subtle, and maintains its difficulty. It's so consistent. Creative, elegant, subtle, and consistent. All that and a bag of chips. It is a fantastic puzzle by Ard, as so often on the channel. Yes, I didn't help myself for long times by forgetting the knight's move, by not noticing the connection between those cells, and I'm sure, etc., etc. And I'm sure you will point out my other fallibilities in the comments under the video. But I love the puzzle. I love doing this job, if I'm honest. And thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I will be back with more tomorrow. Bye for now.